Hello everyone and welcome. So today we're going to be looking at how to create and work on a spreadsheet in Google. So Google already has its own built-in document editor, presentation, slide creator, and spreadsheet editor as well. Where I'm at is just Google Drive. I'm signed into my Google account, and I've gone and identified my Drive icon. So you can scroll down, you can look through all of these. Just remember that you can actually scroll. Some people miss it because it's further down the list. Just come over to Google Drive, create a folder. Mine is in the Google Sheets tutorial folder, and I'm going to come over to New. And over here, you can either click directly or you can go blank sheet, spreadsheet, right? From template, this is going to give you some pre-existing work, but I just want to start with a blank spreadsheet. So as you can see, it's going to open. See, it's working, busy building the document for us, and it is done. So if you're familiar with Excel or any other spreadsheet editor, you're going to recognize this is going to be lots of columns and a bunch of rows, right? So if I'm talking about the block, or we call them cells, the cell in B8, this is the one I'm talking about, right? That's the cell in B8. So as you can see, if I wanted to just select a single cell, I can. If I want to select the whole column, I can click on the actual header at the top, or I can click on the side over here and it gives me the whole row. I can also just highlight by clicking and dragging. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say shopping, let's say shopping list, right? We're going to make a shopping list. And we'll get to all the formatting stuff in a moment, but for now, let's just start creating a very basic shopping list. So let's say shopping list for today. Okay, we wouldn't necessarily say that, but let's just do it for the activity. We're going to have a list of items. We're going to have quantity, right? We're going to have price per item, and we're going to have total. So, first thing we're going to look at is items. Let's just add a bunch of items. Let's go with bread, milk, water, cheese. What are some other things? Meat. Right, string, whatever. Not that important, but we're going to have these items in our list. And we're going to go, and if you're wondering how I'm moving around like this, I'm using my arrow keys just to navigate up, 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 right, down, 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 right? So I'm navigating just using my arrow keys. You can use your mouse, but it's quicker for me to use my arrow keys. Bread, how many loaves of bread do we want? Let's say 2. Milk, let's go with 2. Water, let's go with 1. Cheese, 5. Meat, 1. And string, I don't know, 10. Let's go with 10. Okay, again, arrow keys. Just giving random numbers. So now price per item. So we're going to put in how many words. Let's say bread is about $3. Let's go enter. So we run into our first interesting formatting question. Now, how do I put the dollar symbol there? I could go, let's clear it up. I could put $3, okay? And you can see, if I'm looking here, I'm seeing $3, and if I'm looking at the actual cell, the content of the cell, it just says 3, right? Just like if I click on bread, the content of the cell is bread, and the area over here also says bread. But why am I getting the dollar sign? Because it's recognizing that as an actual formula. If I wanted to actually put a currency, recognize this as a currency, I could go 3 and I could click the format as currency. I have to obviously select the cell I want, format as currency. And if I want to take off a 0 or add a 0, I could do that by doing this over here. I can also do percentages, and I can do a whole lot more, but right now let's just go with dollar, right? So let's put the currency for milk. I'm just going to do this. Currency for milk is, I don't know, 2, but now we have to go and do dollar again. And I'm going to have to do that for every single item in the list. That's going to get really boring. So how about if I take this and I want to copy. Notice if I have a little hand, I move my mouse and I get the hand. I can move what it is that I'm looking at. Or I can get the little plus sign here in the corner and I can drag it down. What that's going to do is it's going to replicate it down, copy it down, and it's going to keep the formatting with it. So now what I can do is I can just come and edit the prices of things. So now I can just come in here and say $2 for that, $1 for that, $5 for that, $10 for that, and I have no idea. Let's go with 50 cents, right? Those are prices, and you could see I didn't have to type the dollar sign in every time. And now for total, what we can do is we can go 3 times 2, that is going to be 6, and we have to come and do the dollar again, so that's going to get a bit boring. What I could do is I could go across, copy the formatting, and then I can make it 6, but what if I change this later to 1? Now I have to come here and change that to 3 to do the maths right? I don't really want to do that. Let's go back. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. I'm going to erase this. What I would like is to actually create a formula for this. I'd like to say it's equal to, you just use the equal sign on your keyboard, the number of items, you can see there B3, and I'm going to use times or divide or minus or plus. You can use any of these symbols. I'm going to go with obviously times the price of the item. So now it's B3 and C3. They're times together. It's a little formula, and over here you can see the little formula, and if I hit enter it shows me the final result, but you can see it's actually a formula. Very simple, right? You can now go and you can do that over here as well. This is equal to this times this, enter, and you can do it for every single one, but we already know we don't need to do that for every line. I'm going to delete that and I'm going to use our copy function to move it down. Notice the plus sign again, moving down, and it will now copy the formula for every row. Okay, so you can make a really long list. So that's already looking really nice, but now if I come over here, let's go, same thing we did earlier, I changed the quantity to 1. Okay, now watch what happens over here when I hit enter, and it updates accordingly. If I go, I want 5, it updates. If I want 6, it updates. If I want 2, again, it updates, right? But what if I want the total of this? Well, I could go equal to this plus this plus this plus this plus this plus this, okay? And we're going to get 51. But that could get really long if we're using a really long list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something else. I'm going to use a different type of equation, again, this, but we're going to use a sum equation. I can say equal to sum, and you can see some examples over here, and I can write the whole equation out here, but there's a better option. I can literally just go highlight the content. I want my content over here, come over to the functions option, and I can go sum. Okay, and it's going to give me sum D3 through to D8. Hit enter and I get my final answer. So now let's go back up to modifying the bread. Let's say, for example, we want 5 pieces of bread. It's going to update this, which is also going to update this, right? Let's hit enter and you can see how it updates, right? Go over here to 2, it's going to update and then update down. You can see how it updates. So right now I'm quite happy with the spreadsheet. I think that that's looking good. I would like to now work on some formatting. So first thing, I would like this to be across the whole top row. So what I can do is I can highlight the whole top row and I can say merge all, right? All of the blocks that I've selected, and it becomes one block. And then basic text formatting comes into play. You can make it center, you can make it center in the middle, you can make it bold, you can change the font, all that kind of stuff. You can also change the color of the block. Let's say, for example, we wanted dark and we wanted white text on it, and these ones we wanted to make them a little less dark but also with some white text. Let's make it nice, right? And the items, we wanted to make them gray, right? So now we're just doing very basic formatting. But what if this list gets really long and I go down here? Now I don't know which one's the price, which one's the quantity, which one's the total, supplier information. Like if there's a lot of information here, I'm going to lose track because I can't see my headings. So what you can use is you can use these to freeze columns. Whoops. Use them to freeze that, for example. And now you can see when I scroll, my headings are frozen on my sheet and they travel with me. Right? So that's how I'm going to keep it from now on. You can just undo it by going where you get the little hand again, and you can move them back out if you want, but I would like to use it. What I'd also like to do is I'd like to put a border around this. So what I can do is I come over here to the borders. Notice that I've selected the block I want to use. And first I will choose the color, and let's just make it a really big thick black line, a pink line, and you can choose exactly how you want to round it. I want to just do outer border. It's going to put a border around the outer, right? Outer border. And that is it. That's our total. So now as we go and change stuff, everything is constantly being updated. Right? Next, let's have a look. We are going to go over here. We can double click on that, or we can click on the arrow and go rename. And I'm going to say shopping list for today. Very long name, but that's okay. And now I don't want to make this all over again if I have to do it for tomorrow. I just want to go to the arrow and go copy to, or I can go duplicate. And you can see now we have two lists. So let's go over here. Let's say shopping list for tomorrow. And we've got two different shopping lists. And now this one I can say for tomorrow. And now I can have a different shopping list for tomorrow and a different shopping list for today. Right? The last thing, I'm going to make a new sheet for this. If I wanted to make a really long list, and this is just getting a little bit more into the function side of it, say for example I wanted to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through to 100, that's going to take me very, very long. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go 1, 2, copy it, and drag down. And it's going to give me my numbers. What if I wanted to do Monday, Tuesday, and I wanted to keep going? That's going to take very long for me to type it, but if I do that, automatically does it. It even recognizes if I just do short. What if I wanted a capital M for Monday? Right? It'll recognize all of these different formats. What if I wanted to specifically say Monday, comma, I want a comma, or I want a dash, or how should we do it? Let's do dash. Very unusual, but let's do dash. Monday 25 May 2020. Okay, that's a bit of an unusual formatting, but let's do it. I can also expand the column a little bit, and I'm going to drag down, and it's going to duplicate it like that. Okay, so that was a bit too unusual. Let's try and make it then Monday, comma, 25 May 2020, and let's try that. And that works. So you can see sometimes it doesn't really work. You just have to change the formatting a little bit, right? And we get that. What if we wanted to go and have it that it was 50 cents, which then goes to, we can make it currency, which then goes to, let's go $5.50, right? Make it dollar. Let's see if it can predict how that increases. And it keeps going up by $5 from that point, right? The last thing we can look at is, say for example, the cat jumped over the car. I'm not very good at rhymes, right? Okay. the problem is the text is going here and it's continuing out of the block, but I want to have text over here. So let's say the dog chased the wagon. How do you spell wagon? Let's say car. Okay, the dog chased the car. I could just increase the size of it, but the problem is I've cut this one off here, which means I have to increase the size there. But what if I don't want to change the size of the column? So what I could do is I could say both of these come over here, cut it off, clip it off, right? Or what's better is I go over here and I say wrap, and I'll actually wrap the text to keep it inside. Okay. And the very last thing, what if I wanted to make a link to, say for example, a PDF document that I've got somewhere, or a website, like I want to make a link to Google. Let's say I go google.com. I'm going to copy the link of anything you want. Even if you wanted to make a link to this document here, I can go over here, copy the link. Let's copy it, Control C, or we can go right click copy, come over here, and I can paste it in. Or I can go paste. But this looks a bit ugly, and I can click here, but what if I wanted to just say Google, right? Click on the word Google, come up here to the insert link, and paste the link. That's what the block will show us, but that is where it will take us. And we've got our link. Much cleaner. So for example, if we wanted to come over here to the spreadsheet with the shopping list, we wanted to buy the bread from one place and we wanted links to all of the suppliers over here, we can literally just put the links in here, and when we click on them, like so, it will take us to the location. And that is pretty much everything I would use Google Sheets to do. Sometimes you'll do some charts and graphs and line diagrams, but to be honest, the majority of the work you probably spend your time doing is stuff like this. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, leave some comments and I'll try and get back to you.